Hi friends, welcome back to Faith and Arrow Homestead. My name is Jaylee and today we are going to talk about pasta. We have been learning so many new things together lately and I just want to keep that ball rolling. I think that this is so much fun, expanding our skill base and building our confidence in the kitchen and growing as homesteaders. I just think it's wonderful. So we are going to make homemade pasta. Now, I am going to be doing this with something called the Pasta Queen. I actually got this at a garage sale for $10 just the other day, less than 2 weeks ago, very recently. I haven't used it yet. I've wanted one of these. I like the idea of it being a hand crank. This is not an electric machine. Now, if this is still available for sale, I will find it and link it down in the description for you. So I picked this up for $10 and I'm really excited to use it. We're gonna go through the whole process together, but just know if you don't have one of these, you can still follow all of the same steps, except instead of putting the pasta sheets through here, you would just roll it out with a rolling pin, just manually, which I was going to do before. I've been wanting to make pasta for years. And before I ended up with this gadget, that's what I was going to do. It's still definitely doable. It's just a little bit more, elbow grease, of course. But we are going to use this. If you've got this or something like it, then hopefully that'll be helpful for you. I'm also going to give you the recipe for making the pasta, and it's really easy. Are you ready? It's 3 cups of flour and 4 eggs. And so here I have 3 cups of flour in my mixing bowl. And then here I have 4 eggs. These are eggs from my chickens. I love the variety of colors that I've been getting. Some of them are coming out looking a little green, which is so exciting, and I don't know how that's happening. We need to make a well in the middle of our flour here. And then I'm going to crack each egg individually just because these are coming from my chickens. And then each one that I crack, I'm going to just whisk it quickly. And then I will pour that whisked egg into my flour mixture. I'm in my dining room, which is throwing me off. I don't usually do cooking projects in here, but I am in here because the Pasta Queen attaches to the counter, and it needs to. I tried using it without attaching it, and it's just going all over the place. But the edges of my kitchen counter are rounded, and you can't attach anything to them. So I'm in here at my dining room table instead. This is the last egg. I'm gonna get that put right in here. I'm already making a huge mess. All right, and then we are just going to whisk the flour and egg together. And I did see that if it is too dry and it's not coming together, you can add water, but seriously, the smallest little bit of water. In fact, in the video that I was watching, she actually just wetted her hands and then went back to kneading in the bowl, mixing in the bowl, and that was enough to bring it together. So if you do end up having to add water to this, you would add the smallest amount. This is looking super dry. It's not coming together at all. So I'm gonna put some water in my egg bowl, and I'm also going to bring some flour out here as well. I went ahead and grabbed my cling wrap too. We will need that. Now this is my very first time doing this, and it's not often that I do things for the very first time on camera. I usually like to do it a couple times because part of this channel is inspiring you to try new things, but part of this channel is also actually showing you how to do them. So oftentimes I like to have done it a time or two so that I can say, okay, cool, we're doing this new thing together, and we are. Will have just recently learned that skill often, but I'll still be able to actually provide some guidance. But in this case, this is my very first time doing this. I've never ever done this before, so we'll see how it goes. And then I'm just going to start trying to get this to come together with my hands from here on out. And this is super dry, but you know what? The recipe did say 4 large eggs, and those are just my chicken eggs, so perhaps they are a bit smaller than the eggs you would get from the store. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that we're needing a little more liquid here. But as you can see, I'm just wetting my fingers and going back in. I'm not going to add a crazy amount and end up with too much. Making pasta is a great project if you have a ton of eggs. It's a great way to use up some extra eggs in the kitchen. If you're tired of eating scrambled eggs or quiches or what have you, and you still have a ton of eggs. I actually don't have a ton of extra eggs right now because it has been so hot and the girls are not laying very well. So I'm only getting about 3 or 4 eggs a day. And I do even have the occasional day where I only have 1 egg or 2 eggs. So I'm not in an overabundance, but I've got enough, and I've just really been itching ever since I got this pasta queen at that garage sale. I've been really itching to give this a try. You want to know what actually motivated me to get in here and do this? Was I was listening to Lisa from Farmhouse on Boone. She has a podcast, and I like her podcast. I always listen to it when it comes out, and she said something along the lines of, if you don't have any children, you have no idea how much time free time you have. Like, you can't properly appreciate the free time that you have if you don't have kids. And if you're wanting to be a homesteader, you should be out here learning everything that you can, because once you have kids, it's harder to find the free time to just learn new tasks whenever you feel like it. And that really convicted me, because we don't have any kids yet. And I do still have those days where I'm like, I'm not working, I don't have any videos scheduled to be filmed or anything, and I'll just veg out. And I've been feeling very convicted about that lately. I should really make the most of my days. Not to say that you can't have days of rest, you can, but you don't need 2 of them in 1 week. I should be learning new skills and being productive. Especially when you garden, just being a homesteader in general, there's always projects to be done, things you could be doing, always. I've managed to have it come together in a ball. It's still on the dry side, but that's okay. I'm going to move this bowl, and now I'm going to try and do some table kneading. Now, in the video that I watched, she added flour to her work surface, but I already had to wet my hands quite a few times when I was trying to get this to come together, so I can't imagine I'd want to add flour now. But if it starts to stick to my table as I need, then I certainly will. And that's why I have it here. The video that I watched did not say how long to knead for, so I'm assuming we're probably just going to knead it until it becomes smooth, because as you can see here, this is still kind of on the crumbly side. It's not really together very well, and I'm imagining we probably want a nice smooth ball of pasta dough. And so I am just going to knead it until it becomes a bit smoother. So I actually ended up wetting my hands a couple more times while I was kneading this, because I just felt like it was so dry. And it's much better now. This is more what I was thinking. It's a nice smooth ball of dough. There's still some cracks, but not like there was before. And it holds together pretty well. And I think that this is probably what we're going for. So this is good. I'm going to go ahead and stop kneading. I turned the camera off. I've been listening to the Prince of Egypt soundtrack on Spotify. So I was listening to some music and was just kneading my little heart out. And I think I probably was kneading for close to 10 minutes. And now we're going to wrap this in cling wrap. And we are just going to let this rest just at room temperature for 30 minutes. And then we can move on to the fun part. I'm really excited to use my new Pasta Queen machine here. And we are going to make spaghetti noodles. The video that I watched, they made fettuccine. And I do have the ability to do either one. So here, this attachment that it came with, and perhaps there are other attachments that you could purchase, at least at the time. But for me now, I have a fettuccine. This attachment here has a fettuccine setting and a spaghetti setting. So we're going to use the spaghetti setting back here and make some spaghetti noodles. And I'm really excited. I hope that this turns out. It seemed really simple, so hopefully it is. We can, however, go ahead and get this attached. So it comes with this thing here, and we just, dang it, I don't have a good place to do this. This is, the lip of this dining room table is too small, and this is as tight as it goes, and that's too much of a gap. So this table doesn't work either, my goodness. All right, that's fine. I'm going to put this on a cutting board. Maybe this will give me the distance that I need. It's not ideal, but it's better than it was, because when I was doing this on my kitchen counter, it was all over, like literally was just sliding all over. So it's better. It's still not great though. All right, that'll have to do. We'll come back in 30 minutes. All right. Oh, this feels nice. All right, I'm excited. This is the fun part. I'm a little nervous. I only watched the video one time and I didn't rewatch it because it honestly seemed so easy. So hopefully we don't screw this up. All right, so we're just going to press this out into, this is not the best place to do this. I'm not loving this setup. We'll come back. All right, we're going to press this out into a rectangle. Now, if you don't have your little pasta machine here to do this, then at this point, you would just take this ball of dough and you would just take a rolling pin and roll it out as thin as you want it, and then cut out your noodles. And that's it. And then you hang them to dry. We're going to do that at the end. It's the same, no matter what method you use for that. But for this, we're just going to try and press it out into a rectangle here, roughly. And then I'm going to take a little end piece here, because the video I watched said that if you have a new pasta machine, which in this case it's new to me, it's potentially used, maybe they never use it, I don't know. Roll a throwaway piece of dough through it to just get any nastiness that might be on it off. So we're going to use this kind of as like a cleaning run. And then for the rest of these, just cut it into pieces. All right, so I've got 4 strips here, and we will come back to that. All right. Ooh, moment of truth. I'm so excited. I hope that this works. How stinking cool. Tom is out of the house right now. He's got some errands that he's running. So I have the house to myself. He doesn't know that I'm doing this. So I'm really hoping that it's about 1 o'clock and you need to let the noodles dry for like 5 hours, which I wonder, you probably don't need to let them dry if you're going to cook them right away, do you? So anyway, I'm going to make dinner with them tonight. I'm really hoping that it turns out, because how cool will it be to be able to tell Tom I made these noodles. All right, put the handle in. All right, now I'm gonna just kind of flatten this out a little bit. Now, when you're starting out, you need to have the gauge set to either 1 or 0. I have the deluxe version. There's different versions of this. The one that I watched the video for, there was a 0, so you would set it to the 0. Mine doesn't have a 0, it has a 1, so that's what I'm going to have it set at, and then we're just going to send it through. Ah! See how it's like moving? This is not ideal. You really want it secured so that it's not moving all over the place, but we're just going to have to make do, unfortunately. But you know, you guys know that's the story of my life in my little tiny kitchen out there, and we make it work most of the time, so we're going to make it work this time too. And I'm just sending this through. I'm making sure to get every part of this because this is like a cleaning run, and we're going to throw this piece of dough away. I'm just going to set that back here for now. Okay, now over here, we're going to start with our first actual piece here. I'm so excited. And we're just going to flatten this out a little bit. And we're still going to start on the first setting. When you're getting your piece of dough going for the first time, this is the part that's like takes the longest and is kind of annoying. And I will show you all of that. I've got a little bit of flour ready here. This is still on 1. And hopefully this is thin enough to go through here. And we're just going to send it through. All right, and then we are going to fold it in on itself like this. and we're going to send it through again. I suppose this is where you need a little bit of finesse because she made it look so easy and it's not, she made it look so easy. All right, that's okay. She was flouring it throughout, but I'm feeling mine and it's feeling very dry, so I'm not going to add any flour just yet. If it starts to feel sticky, I certainly will. And we are going to do this many times. I'm pretty sure she said that she sends it through like this 5 or 6 times. And I saw hers and it was flattening out and starting to look really nice, and mine still isn't. So I'm going to keep doing this until I think that this looks like it's ready to be put on a new setting. Oh no. Oh boy, this is hard. She made it look so easy in her video. Okay, so I'm gonna fold it one more time here and hopefully it stays in its shape. Okay, good. All right, I'm rolling with this. I'm good with this. We folded it several times. It's staying pretty flat. So now I'm gonna move it to the next setting. For fettuccine noodles, so, okay, the way this works is the higher the number, the thinner the pasta, right? We started on 1 and it's super thick. So we're gonna move it to 2. She did fettuccine, and she said for fettuccine, the ideal number was 5. I'm doing spaghetti, so I want it a little thicker. Looks like it goes to at least 7. I'm not sure what the highest setting is. So, we will go probably to 7 and just see. We'll see what it looks like after 6, but maybe we'll go to 7. It just depends on what it's looking like. So now what's going to happen, it's going to start getting thinner and thinner. And she said that when you are increasing your I guess decreasing your size, increasing your number, you only send it through 1 time. So we just sent it through on 2. Now we're going to send it through on 3. And this piece is going to start getting longer and longer and thinner and thinner. So now we're going to set it to 4. And now we'll set it to 5. It is starting to get a little weird right here. So I think I'm just going to trim those weird pieces off just to make it a little easier to go through. Okay, I'm trying really hard to keep it straight. It's actually really difficult to do, and you can see here that it's getting caught on the sides and it's giving me these weird things here. So I'm just gonna trim them, which I realize is wasteful. And in the future, when I get really good at this, hopefully I won't need to do that, but I really want to be successful. So I'm gonna trim off these weird pieces that are causing me issues. And we're moving it to 6. So this which this seems really thick to me, so maybe my machine is a little different than hers, because I think she would have stopped. It was either 5 or 6 for fettuccine, and to me this is still really thick, like thicker than a fettuccine noodle. So we will definitely go to 7 and see what we think about it. So now it's on 6. Oh, wow. Okay, it's getting caught on the side. Shoot. It's getting caught really bad on the side. Okay, now it's moving back over. It's almost like a sewing machine when you have to kind of like feed it and control like the direction it goes. Isn't this crazy, you guys? Look at this giant piece of pasta that we're ending up with. This is crazy. Okay, wow. This is so cool. All right, because this is such a long piece and it's getting caught, and because I'm new at this, I'm gonna go ahead and trim it. And you're supposed to trim it anyway. That's one of the steps. I'm just gonna do it a little early because she trimmed hers after she was done, and I wanna send this through one more time through the 7, but it's getting hard for me to manage because I am not proficient at this. So went ahead and trimmed it, and I'm gonna trim off these weird pieces again on the sides. This is not ideal. It's not something that I want to do, but I'm going to this first time, and hopefully I will have to do it less in the future. And now we're gonna move it to the 7. Yep, I can see that that is the last setting. And you know what? Maybe, why don't we try it? Let's try it with the 6 and see. So I'm going to take the handle out of this main spot, and I'm gonna add it to the spaghetti spot. Let's see what we get here. What? This is so cool. I cannot believe I am holding homemade spaghetti noodles. By the way, this thickness is beautiful. It does not need to go any thicker. Why am I getting emotional? I feel emotional about this. I cannot believe that we just made spaghetti noodles. Like, this is angel hair pasta that you would buy at the store. And it has flour and eggs. Can we just talk about the fact that homesteading has changed my life? Homesteading has absolutely, without a doubt, changed my life. This is, I am in utter disbelief. And this is only that first piece of dough. Like, there's 3 more pieces over there to do. This is incredible. You know what I did not get set up though is my drying rack. I have this clothes drying rack. Now this is overkill to the max. I do not need this much space to dry these, but I have it, and so guess what? We're gonna use it. So you're supposed to have a tool to actually collect the noodles as they come out and then just transfer them onto the drying rack. Me doing it this way right now is not ideal, but that's okay. We're gonna get all of these up here and it's gonna be just fine. And so far, for being my very first time making pasta, it's working out. Relatively hiccup free actually, so I am very pleased. Okay, Benny really enjoyed that because it took me a while to untangle them, and so they were getting stuck together, so a few of them dropped to the ground. He was literally just standing under me, catching all the falling pasta, so you're having a good day. I have a rogue chopstick that has been hanging out in my kitchen junk drawer for a while, so I'm going to see if I can't use that to receive these noodles and then gracefully transfer them to the drying rack. So I'm not having to individually do that because that took a minute, but that's okay. I'm learning, I'm trying to figure out a rhythm here, and so that's just fine. We will figure out what works best for us here. And, oh, you know what? Shoot, I know. I was supposed to cover these extra pieces with plastic wrap so they don't dry out, and they've been sitting here for a minute, so let's go ahead and do that. Whoopsie. Yeah, whatever you're not working with, you need to cover it so that it doesn't dry out. And I thought of it because I just went to pick up this sheet that's been sitting, and it's dry, so that's okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up because I've got these 3 other pieces that I need to work on, and they need to go from the beginning. I need to do the whole thing, set it back to 1, double it, put it through 5 or 6 times, the whole shebang, and I'm going to end up filling up the top of this rack for sure. So I'm going to work on that, keep listening to my Prince of Egypt soundtrack, and then when this has been drying and we're ready, we are going to go ahead and make a bowl of pasta and see how it goes. I'm excited. This one went much better. It only got caught, like snagged on the side in one place right here, and I'll be able to just pull that right off. This sheet is so straight and so pretty, and I got to the 6 on it, and I was looking at it, and it's so pretty. I think I've decided I want to turn this one into a lasagna noodle, because I was looking at my spaghetti, and I was like, I'm going to do more spaghetti, and we eat a lot of spaghetti, so certainly I want to keep that on hand. But we also eat lasagna too. We don't eat a ton of fettuccine, some, but mostly we eat spaghetti and lasagna. So I think I'm actually going to turn this one into lasagna. So I'll go ahead and do that really quick, and I'll show you. All I'm going to do, can you see it on the camera? Sort of. I'm just going to, actually, you know what would be a great way to do this? This is my lasagna pan. This is the pan that I always use to make lasagna. So I'm just going to go right to the edge of it. And then I'm going to also cut it down the middle because I like thinner lasagna, like thinner in width. The ones from the store are always too wide, too thick. I like a thinner. So nice. And I'm just going to also hang these to dry. So let me measure. I don't think you can even see what I'm doing here, but I'm just basically here. I'll take a video with my phone. So I'm just putting the noodle up against the dish that I usually use to make lasagna, and then I'm just cutting it. So that'll be the perfect size, and then I'll cut that noodle in half down the middle. Nice! This is very exciting. I feel very good about this. I cannot believe that we are making pasta. I've been wanting to make pasta for years now, such a long time, and we're finally doing it. This is very exciting. Now, granted, we have not tasted this yet, nor have we cooked it yet, so it's still yet to be seen if this is, like, perfect, like if we're really doing it right, but it seems like we are. I definitely figured it out and spent a little more time on it and got my finesse figured out. So let me show you the difference and what these noodles ended up looking like. I did spaghetti, lasagna noodles, and fettuccine noodles. So these are my first ones, and you can see that they are kind of rough looking, but they're drying really well. And you know what? They're fine. They were just my first ones. And so they're a little unorganized. And then these are my lasagna noodles back here. And they look really good. Look at that. Look how pretty. I definitely figured it out. I got the chopstick figured out. I got the thickness figured out. And then down here are my fettuccine noodles. Let me see if I can show you better. Those are so nice and pretty. The lengths are different because I did that on purpose. But you can definitely tell the difference between my first batch and my second batch. But all in all, I think it turned out really nice. And for being my very first time, not bad. I definitely got a couple of tricks that I figured out, and it started to pick up pace and look, it was a little easier once I had been doing it for a minute. So I'm really excited about that. So now these have been drying for quite some time. Let's see. I've been in here working on this for a couple of hours. These are definitely dried. And so I'm going to cook up just a little bowl of them just with some butter so I can taste them, and we're going to try them together. Ooh, I'm really excited. Okay, so I boiled them for like, I don't know, 3 minutes, and there weren't that many in there anyway, so it didn't take very long. And then I just added a touch of butter, and I'm gonna taste this, and I'm looking for just making sure that they don't taste disgusting. Pasta noodles don't really have much of a flavor, especially not the store-bought ones. So I'm not looking for them to be like bursting with flavor, but as long as they just don't taste gross. And then of course, really more than anything, I want the regular texture and consistency of a store-bought pasta noodle. Perfect. Everything that I just said, it hits the mark on both. That's so good. The texture and the consistency is perfect. My particular pasta queen, the spaghetti noodles are really thin. I would say even thinner than an angel hair pasta from the store. So there's that. I do usually like a thicker pasta noodle. Sometimes I eat, or spaghetti noodle. Sometimes I even get the thick ones. So I guess there's that, but it's still, the consistency and the texture is spot on. It tastes like pasta. It feels like pasta. Wow. I can't believe that. That is so exciting. I cannot believe we just made pasta. That is crazy. Cool. Well, you can leave it out at room temperature. Okay, so there is so much debate about this, and I've been hearing people talk about pasta for years now, so I've heard a lot of different things, and I've heard people say that these keep at room temperature for a long time. I've heard people say they keep at room temperature if you store them in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. The lady that I learned this from said that she keeps it at room temperature for up to 3 days, and if she's not going to use it in 3 days, she puts it in the freezer. And I think that's probably what I'm going to do for now. I need to do more research on this. There may be other preservation techniques. There may be some measure of dehydrating that could be done. I don't know exactly the best way to keep these long term. But I do know that keeping them in the freezer, she said they could stay in the freezer for up to 3 months, which I'm sure that they could stay in the freezer longer than 3 months. But I think I'll go through them fast enough that it won't take up significant freezer space. And that's how I'm going to do it for now until I do a little bit more research and learn more about how these best are kept. Because of course I'd rather keep them at room temperature, just like you can from the store-bought pasta, just like on the shelf. That's the ideal. But I just need to make sure that I'm comfortable with that before I start doing it. And again, the lady that I learned from does not do that. So I need to learn more about that. But this was great, guys. I'm so excited. So, all right, the last 3 videos have been making your own cottage cheese, rendering lard, and now making pasta. We are on a roll, and I'm excited to see what comes next. I have a couple of ideas for things I want to try. But this is really fun, and I'm feeling very inspired to try new things because I think that things are going to start changing around here kind of soon, And I actually am needing to film a video and kind of give you guys a life update because things have been weird around here. There's been things that I think are going to happen that don't happen, and then things happen that I didn't see coming happen. And it's just like lots of craziness. So I think I might do a live video and sit down and give you guys like an update through a live maybe. But if I did that, I would need to I need to make a list of topics because I'm all over the place right now. I got all sorts of stuff going in my brain. So anyway, stay tuned for that. If you are new here and you thought this was fun, please consider subscribing. Hit the bell so you'll be notified of my future uploads. And I can't wait to see you in my next video. Have faith and keep moving forward. Bye.